Hi, this is Catherine, and this is Taking Tea with Catherine. Welcome or welcome back. I'm drinking stress support tea from Yogi Teas because I tend to try to drink herbal teas in the evening that will wind me down. That's all there is to it. Um, and it has a little, I haven't taken the bag out yet, it has a little saying on all the tags. This one says, people who love are compassionate. You know what? Let's be compassionate, everybody. And also be compassionate on me as I do a tag. Because sometimes I get a little stumped in the middle of a tag, even if I've looked over it before. Now this one's a little bit of a special one. It's not my original tag, but it's the Booktube Anniversary Tag. So this is the first time I get to do an anniversary tag. It's kind of like a look back on things and a look forward, I guess, too. Yeah, my first post on Booktube was June 3rd, 2019. I had been thinking about doing my own channel for a while, but I'd been watching Booktube for a little bit and liked it, but didn't think, did I have anything to offer? Then I said, let's just try it. So I started with an unhaul, and it wasn't really well done or anything. It was just a quick video just to see how it goes. And I thought, you know what? I had a fun time doing this, so let's keep doing it. And here I am a year later somehow. This tag is an original tag from Book Your Imagination. So, I love that name. So let's start from the beginning. So the first one is easy question. What anniversary are you celebrating? And that is the first anniversary. 1 year, not on Booktube. Like I said, I've been watching Booktube. So, been on Booktube for a couple of years. But as a Booktuber, a person who creates videos, yes, 1 year. Okay, so not as easy as it was supposed to be. Okay, what genre or genres, it's a word I never have an easy time saying, genres, does your channel generally focus on? So I like history a lot, and that's not just history nonfiction, but also historical novels. I like a lot of mystery novels, and classics I know is not a genre, but I would say as classics, mostly as novels that I mostly that are published in the Victorian times and Edwardian times. But of course, I read I also watch stories from Regency time periods and past Edwardian, so 20s, 30s, whatever. Yeah. So that's classics. Like I said, it's not exactly a genre. I do like a lot of nonfiction too, biographies and memoirs. I like reading about people's lives, especially literary biographies. I like to read about writers. And I also like to, I've gotten even more so, although I've always read, I like nature writing, so that's great. There's a lot of memoirs that are nature writing and also just in general. So that's mostly what I read. I do vary occasionally. There are certain things that I will branch out to, but I think this is what you'll probably find the most of. The next question is, this is one of those questions that just, but what are you most proud of on your channel in the last year? And I don't walk around being proud of things. I usually get embarrassed by half the things that I do, but it's really the regularity. I cannot believe I kept up with posting a couple of videos at least every week. And that's, I had a blog and I still technically have it since 2005. I just haven't updated it in like 6 months or so, maybe more than, maybe 8 months. I started to make a new post and it hasn't gotten anywhere yet, so we'll see if I somehow get back to that. But I did consider myself pretty regular on there too. I used to post, when I first started doing that, I used to post almost daily, and then as time went on and there was a lot of different social medias, I started posting more things on Facebook, Instagram, and then I just got lazy. So I thought if I started a Booktube channel, I'd get all excited about it and then just taper off, but somehow I haven't. Not yet anyway. So we'll see if I do this next year. We'll see what I have to say about that. Number 4, do you receive ARCs? Advanced Reader Copies, I think it's called. It stands for to review. And I do, but not as a result of Booktube. I've received them through different websites, and I don't get as many as I like, but in a way that's good because sometimes I feel pressure to read certain things. But maybe that's good. I don't know. So yeah, let's see. Number 5. What types of videos do you most like to do on your channel? I don't know. I like to do all of them. I mean, I like to do things that require a little bit of advanced thought because there's the formulaic ones, and I have no problem with them, like tags, like TBRs, unhauls, hauls, etc., wrap ups. I love those. I actually really enjoy doing them, but I do kind of like things that I come up with on my own, just because it really does get my gears going, and so I like that a little bit. But we'll get back to that in a moment. Yes, what types of videos do you like to watch on other people's channels? And this is funny because some of these questions are going to be sort of interrelated, and I like. It depends on the person. It really depends on who's posting. Some people do a haul, and I could watch their hauls for ages, and I get excited every time I see their haul. And other people, their hauls just don't interest me because what the books that they're buying just aren't my thing. Some people, I just like them to watch as people, and their reading interests are really not very similar to mine. So I just not so much. It's not so much on their reading material, but their content in other ways. It really depends on the person. Some people are just somehow all encompassing interesting to me, and so pretty much anything they do, I will stop what I'm doing and watch. So I don't know if I can really generalize there, but I do like a good haul though. I mean, I know it's like encouraging buying things, whatever. But you can, I know right now it's not as much, but you can do library borrowing hauls too. That is great too. But I also like wrap ups and reviews and stuff. I like to see I don't like to see just, okay, I plan to read it, or I got this and I never see it again. And it's a reminder for me too. If I buy a new book, which I do more often than I like to admit, eventually I should read it. So it's nice to see a little follow through. Number 7, was there anything you tried on your channel last year that didn't work? And I don't know what didn't work means. Like, was it not successful? Did it raise problems? Did nobody watch? I'm assuming it meant that it didn't really bring in a lot of viewers, didn't attract viewers or subscribers. Or just, was it literally didn't work, like technically? Because I've had trouble editing still. I still have trouble editing. And so that definitely didn't work for me. But I would say there are, and it's funny because I just said how I like to come up with material that isn't the formulaic stuff, like the hauls and the TBRs. But I have done some things, like, for instance, I remember last year at some point, when it was still early on in the channel, where I decided to recommend a bunch of books about New York. And I put some thought into it, and it was supposed to be part 1 of many, because I figure I read a lot about the city that I live in, and I have a lot to recommend. And I thought, if this is good, I'll probably also go on to recommend books about London, because that's what I read a lot about. That's, my thing. And it just didn't get a lot of viewers and a lot of response, so I thought, I guess maybe if I do it again, I'll do it because I like to do it, but not really because it's gonna have a lot of viewers. So I don't know. I guess that didn't work, but it's not like it was like, oh, abject failure. So, okay. I hate reading from a screen because it keeps lighting up my face. All right. Is there anything that you've done on your channel last year that you won't continue doing next year? Yeah, probably. Unless I change my mind, because, I have thoughts and then I totally do something different. This is still very hot. This one mug, man, it's nice, but it just doesn't cool things down very well. I was doing a thing that I just had fun with called Bookish Hypochondriac, where I talked about different issues that I have, different health complaints, or different imagined health complaints too, or mild complaints, and that affected how I read books, or how my reading was affected by those things. And I meant it to be more of a comic sort of thing, not to be complaining about my health, because, so far in my life, I do have some chronic health issues, but they're not as bad or debilitating as a lot of people. So really, I did it for fun. But after um, COVID-19, after everything has been going with the pandemic, it just doesn't seem fun anymore. And also, I'm running out of material, to be honest, for that. But I think one of the very last ones I did was something about being able to read during sick days, like what kind of sick days, what kind of health problems, reasons for staying home from work, but days that I could still read despite being sick. And then I mentioned something along the lines of, this year we haven't had any blizzard snow days, and I kind of regretted that. Next thing you know, even though, I still do work from home technically, but I do have more time at home, which would mean I should be able to read more. And I feel like now looking back on it, although I didn't realize at the time, it just seems flippant and churlish. Just talking about, oh, I wish I had more time at home, even sick days, So, yeah, I don't know. Let's retire that one for now. That's all. Okay, number 9. Is there anything that you plan to do more of this year? Um, I, um, I don't know. I plan to do, I would maybe like to do more tags because I do find them challenging, questions to answer, a little creativity involved, a little soul searching involved. I would like to do more in the realm of reading outside my comfort zone, and also actually reading the books that I plan to read as well that I haven't gotten to yet. So planning to cover that. I would like to come up with more things that aren't hauls and more and the usual things. So I don't know. Okay. So okay, yeah, some of these are, like I said, are very similar. Is there anything new that you plan to add to your channel next year? Couple of things that I hope to do. One, I would really like to come up with my own original tag. I know it's not that hard to do, but in a way it is, because you have to come up with questions that are not like any other questions that someone else has asked, because what is the point of that? Because then otherwise you're just asking recycled questions, and then if you tag somebody, they'll be like, well, I said this before. But it would be fun to do that, although I would be nervous if I end up tagging people with my original tag and no one took me up on it. But people tend to, actually, unless it's a horrible set of questions, people tend to get excited when they get tagged, and most will tend to, because I've tagged people, after I've been tagged, and most people tend to do it. So that would be fun. Another thing, and it's weird that I'm going to say this, because of my own preferences, but I would like to try, if I ever, well, even if I don't, but especially if life comes to the point where I can walk around in the city more or elsewhere, I would like to do something resembling a vlog, which I really haven't done at all. And this will feature a little more in the next question. And the main reason is because I'm not good at editing. I don't edit, really. I've tried some editing after I've made a video with the rudimentary things that I have, and it didn't work out, or it froze my video. It did all kinds of things. I had an issue last week where I tried to trim a little bit, and then it, I don't know, crashed. So I know that doing vlogs usually requires some form of editing, because it's not usually just what I do here, which is basically talk straight to the camera for an average of 20 minutes, and that's it. That's all I need to do. I could edit in things like, I could edit things in items, whatever, even in these kind of videos, but I don't really care whether I do or not, although I'll mention that again in the next question. But yeah, I'm sorry. I just paused it for a moment. One little thing I can do. One of the things that I had, liked on other people's channels as well is when people go to bookshops. One of the things that attracted me to to Booktube in the first place was I was missing London again, and I was looking for people's videos of their visiting bookshops in London. And through that, I found booktubers. And through that, I found more booktubers that even read more books similar to what I like, and from there it went. And it would be cool, like I said, if things open again, if I were able to visit bookshops that I like, that I've mentioned on this channel before, whether it's at home or traveling. Because last year I went to California, I went to a couple of really cool bookshops, and I just didn't video anything because I didn't know how to splice it in. So I didn't think it was worth it. But even if I were just in my own area and going to local bookshops or tea shops, because that's another thing that I talk about a lot, and I just can't do it. So it would be cool if I could learn how to do that. And that the thing is that I personally am not a massive fan, even though it drew me in. I'm not a massive fan of vlogs. Doesn't mean I don't watch any. It just means that there's just so many I could watch, because a lot of people, even though I love them, even if I love their booktube channels, sometimes vlogs can run pretty long, so I don't either have the patience or time. So I might watch a handful of people and their reading vlogs, because it is interesting to see people talk about what they're currently reading while they're reading it. But I tend to gravitate towards the shorter ones, because otherwise I'm going to be spending my entire life watching vlogs. You can only do so much. So yeah, I would, if I were going to do vlogs, I would keep it as short as possible. Under 20 minutes. Is it possible? Okay. So, that goes into, the 11th question, which is, what are some of the challenges that you face on your channel? And one of the big challenges for me, yes, is editing. I have had recommendations, and I have a new laptop that I had to get recently. It's not fantastic. It was the best one I could afford, and it might afford me the ability to use some kind of editing software, but that means I'd have to learn it, and I just so far haven't had the patience to do so. It doesn't mean I won't, but it is a challenge, because that would add a little something. Like I said, I don't feel the need to do too much adding of bells and whistles to my videos, but it might be nicer. It may be more attractive to some people, and that's, getting viewers in general, although I don't really, I'm not going to be rabid to get viewers, because this is not what I do for a living, is not, I'm not going to do anything just to have more viewers, but I know some people are attracted to videos that are a little more streamlined and edited. I personally am not into, and I watch people who do edit a lot, and that's not a problem, but I mean, some people, I have had to stop really watching videos because they literally edit every other word, and it just is, I don't know if it's my generation or what, but it's a bit jarring to me. So I find myself in this, trying to find a middle ground between not wanting to over edit, but how about editing at all? So that's a challenge. Otherwise, like I said, yeah, sure, it's a challenge to even get more subscribers, but I have had people shout me out, which led to more subscribers. And that was cool. And very flattering, because I was like, me, but thank you, and especially because they're pretty much everybody who shouted me out were people that I really like their channels. So I was like, wow. And I'm not quite at 800 yet. And I think it's after 1,000 that you can start doing some special things on YouTube and monetize even. But I just saw a post, I think it was today, from Bookish. I don't know if you've seen that channel, Bookish, which I quite like. He was saying that there's a issue with, being able to monetize, which means that you can have ads on your videos, which I know can be annoying when I'm watching a video and it keeps getting interrupted. Sometimes some videos are literally interrupted right in the middle of a sentence with an ad. But that doesn't bother me itself. The problem is the content of the ad. He was saying something along the lines that they will post political videos for maybe like a candidate or somebody that they don't support whatsoever. And so far you really don't have a lot of say as to what kind of videos you can have on your video. I mean, what kind of ads you can have in your videos, and that is kind of frightening, because if there's something that I really don't believe in and I really don't support, I don't know if I want that to be a possibility. So do I even want to have enough? Do I even need that? So we'll see. Maybe I won't even bother if I get that many subscribers, if that's still an issue. Okay, so that was a lot for that. Number 12. What equipment do you use to film your videos? And this actually does lead into another thing about editing and stuff. I use my cell phone, my mobile, my Samsung Android that I've had for about 3 years. The quality's pretty good. I don't know about amazing. I don't have great eyes, so I'm sure some of you are watching it and saying, oh, this could be better. This lighting, sound, I don't know. But I think in general, it's not that bad. But I have a camera that I've had for many years that's a digital camera that I guess could do videos, but I don't know. I think I'm so far just fine with the phone. So yeah, that's what I use. Okay. Number 13. What is your one best piece of advice you can give to another booktuber? And I would say be yourself, because you have to be yourself. You're talking about books that you love, and hopefully, and books that you don't like, and part of, you are kind of like you are what you eat. Also, you are what you read. So if you're talking about books, some of what you're reading is shaping you, and your choices are based on who you are as well. So if you're talking about basically what you're interested in, but you're not really being yourself, if you feel like you have to act, I don't mean like, okay, so you're not having the best of days, but you decide to do a wrap up. Are you going to come on and be like, so I read 5 books last month? I mean, obviously you want to be on, but you want to be yourself, because otherwise you're going to, I mean, really, are you looking for an Academy Award? Anyway, you'll feel more comfortable in the long run if you're yourself, because if you're like 20 videos in and you realize that I'm sick of playing, All right, and I'm not the first person who said that. I've heard a lot of people say that, and I just agree with that. Number 14. That's the last question. And we're over 20 minutes now. What is the best part of having a booktube channel? The best part is just because there's a lot of things in my life that have come and gone as far as interests, although some have remained the same over many years. But I am in my early 40s. I am not an early reader. When I say that, I learned to read probably between 4 and 5. And however, it is the one thing, even with a brief time period, a brief time in my life where I wasn't reading as much, I was still reading. Books have always been one of my favorite things. Reading, I almost never go a day without reading. I love books, and I love reading, and I love talking about it. So my problem is sometimes socially, with people that I know in real life, some people really enjoy talking to me about books, but some people do not. Or some people just kind of think of it as a novelty, so they may ask me for recommendations out of the blue, but I'm like, yeah, and then I get excited, I start talking, and I realize that maybe people are not as interested in the subject as I am. So it's great to be on a channel, that is devoted to talking about books and tea, because, I mean, I call this a booktube channel, but the title is not a bookish name. It's called Taking Tea with Catherine. For me, when I came up with that title, that name, it was an old thing that I used as a joke many years ago, and then it became the title of my blog, and now a Bookstagram. But for me, it's more of, two of the things I love to do more than anything in life is to sit with friends and talk about books. And over a cup of tea. It doesn't have to be tea. It could be coffee. It could be a glass of wine. It could be a glass of water. But especially tea. That's something I've done for many years. It's something I did with my family growing up, and I still will always love to do. So I just love having this opportunity to be able to do this, and also being able to find other people who are talking about books and be able to listen to their recommendations. So yeah, it's a nerdy delight for me. So that is the Booktube Anniversary Tag, 1 year down. You know, what do you know? So I hope you've enjoyed. If you like this content, please subscribe and let me know if you have a booktube channel that I'm not aware of. Let me know, because I like to encourage people as well. This is Catherine taking tea with Catherine. Have a lovely tea and book-filled day. Goodbye.